All right, we have finally reached it after 7 months of racing. And Brian France being an idiot and getting himself arrested for stupid reasons. And a brief civil war between me and Kamikaze Games later. We have finally reached a chase for the Cup. We have 3 chases this year, of course, the Trucks, Xfinity, and the Cup chase. So yeah, we will now know in the coming few months who will walk out with the championships in their series respectively. And really, this schedule is messed up. Like, you have the Cup chase starting this weekend. Xfinity chase doesn't start till after Vegas, and the Truck chase already start. Like, this schedule's messed up. Like, come on, NASCAR, I thought you were better than this. But yeah, anyway, we've reached the chases, so I'm gonna go through all 3 chases. Even though the Truck chase started, I'll still go through it anyway. But yeah, how about we get right into it? Alright, first off, we have the Trucks chase. We're gonna go through that first, so let's take a look at our 8 truck field. The 8 drivers that qualify for the Truck Series chase, so how about we get right into it? So first off, we have Noah Gragson, the 18 for KBM. The best truck in the field, yet he only won 1 race. Has a crap ton of stage wins, so he has a ton of chase points. And no, I will not call it that one name Brian France wants us all to call it. Screw that. So, Gragson, he's really, I don't know, I think he's a bust. And you're in the best truck, and you only win 1 race. But get a ton of stage wins. Okay, interesting. Hopefully, no. Well, Noah, if you want to prove you're talented, you better really turn around here. Brett Moffitt. All right, Brett. What is this season for Brett Moffitt? Are we sure we're in the right? Is this real life? Brett Moffitt winning races? We've been waiting for this for a while. Brett Moffitt with 4 wins entering the chase this year. A lot of them are off luck. A lot of them were just pure skill, like especially Michigan. Now it's pure skill. I think Brett Moffitt is one of the best drivers going into the chase this year. But yeah, Brett Moffitt, definite championship favorite here. Next up, Johnny Sauter, the regular season champion. He's really been the dominant truck all year. Most consistent truck. He's led the points every race this season. He won Bristol, the cutoff race, so he's entered with some momentum too. But Johnny Sauter, man. What a season. Can Johnny Sauter win the championship? Again, we'll have to see. Ben Rhodes. I believe Ben has a win already. Ben Rhodes saying, he's just a jerk. Just a jerk, because the way he races. Thor Sport really hasn't been relevant as much this year. But, I think Ben Rhodes will probably find a way to point his way into the front, point his way far. But, yeah, who cares but Ben Rhodes. Now, Justin Haley may be the biggest dark horse entering the chase. He got that win at Gateway. He should have won that Xfinity race at Daytona until NASCAR decided to screw him out of it and kill off whatever dignity they have left. But, Justin Haley, I think he's going to be a dark horse. I think we got to look out for him. Grant Enfinger, he's had a really good year, pretty consistent. He's just found ways to keep consistently shooting himself in the foot. He should have a couple wins this year, but he keeps shooting himself in the foot. You can blame Kyle. Kyle Busch really wasn't a factor this year in trucks. He only won 2 truck races. He only leached his way to 2 truck wins, so he wasn't really. So you can't really blame the leeches. But Enfinger, if he's gonna have any hope, he's gotta quit shooting himself in the foot. Stewart Friesen, another truck that's been pretty consistent too. He just doesn't have race-winning speed. That's just the thing. There's a lot of doubt entering him. But yeah. And Matt Crafton, this is probably one of Crafton's worst seasons in recent memory. He's definitely lacking speed. He's been really irrelevant in a lot of these races. Hasn't really been up there. So I'm not really expecting much out of Matt Crafton. But yeah, those are the 8 drivers. So yeah, who will be moving on to the second round? So round 2, we have it consisting of Canadian Tire, aka Mosport in Canada. We also have Dover, and we have Talladega. So for this one, well, Canadian Tire's already known. Haley already won that race because after Noah Gragson decided to be an idiot and wreck his own teammate on the last turn of the last lap. Like, come on, Gragson. You gotta be better than that. So yeah, Haley won that off some luck, but hey, it's still a win. Dover, I have Ben Rhodes pulling it out of his ass. I have nobody for Talladega because Talladega is going to be a complete and utter shit show and a half. You know what? And you know what? I think that race will be won by a shitmobile truck, aka a truck. You know, one of the backmarker teams that normally doesn't run the full schedule. I think it's going to be a crapmobile team. Screw it. Corbin Forster, I guess, maybe? I don't know. A team that usually runs at the back of the pack is going to win that race. And, you know, I got Gragson pointing his way in, along with Moffitt, Sauter, and Enfinger. Yeah, so the drivers I have out are Stuart Friesen and Matt Crafton. Crafton's just been a non-factor this year, so I have my doubts with him. Friesen, you know, he just doesn't have the race-winning pace or the pace. I don't think the pace to keep up. You know, I think it all depends on if Enfinger shoots himself in the foot or not. But yeah, those are the 6 drivers I have moving on there. So now the question is here. Who do I have moving on to round 3? The final 4. Who will move on to the final 4? So in my Bristol review, I spoiled already who my final 4 is. But, you know, I'll go more in detail for it. So yeah, Martinsville, I say Noah Gragson breaks through and wins there again. Texas, I have it going to Johnny Sauter. You know, Johnny Sauter owns Texas like the back of his hand. He always wins at that track. You know, Phoenix, well, it's a new configuration. There's a lot of questions that are in that race. A lot of uncertainty. You know, I think the only tracks we really compare it to are, in terms of flat tracks, are Gateway and maybe Pocono, if you want to count Pocono in. But Phoenix, I'm going to take a safe bet and say Brett Moffitt wins. And I got Ben Rhodes pointing his way in. Because, you know, we always got to have a villain in the championship rap battle. So, yeah, those are the 4 truck series drivers. I already said I'm jinxing this year. Gragson, Sauter, Moffitt, Rhodes. 4 drivers to decide the 2018 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Championship. So, who will win this championship? Well, I also spoiled who would win the championship in my Bristol race review back in a couple weeks ago, the night race one. I said that my championship pick for the truck series is Brett Moffitt. You know, Brett Moffitt, he's just the smartest driver in the field right now. You know, I think Johnny Sauter's a good truck, but Brett Moffitt's just smart, so I think Brett Moffitt's going to be able to outthink Sauter and outrace him as a result. So, my 2018 Truck Series champion is Brett Moffitt. He honestly deserves it. He's had a really good year. So yeah, Brett Moffitt, go get it done. Hopefully I don't jinx you. Alright, next up is the Xfinity Series chase. So yeah, 12 drivers, of course. The chase doesn't start till after Vegas, but honestly, by the way the points are, I don't see, honestly, the chase changing at all after Vegas. I think what we got going in here is what we're going to have here. If you want a Vegas race prediction, I say either Allgaier or Bell will win the race. But yeah, speaking of which, let's get right into it. So, Justin Allgaier. Really dominant season, one of the best cars in the field. 5 wins, probably 6, depending on if he can win Vegas. I think he'll be the regular season champion. He's going to have a crap ton of chase points. And I think Allgaier's the heavy favorite going into the chase. Allgaier's just had a really good season. He's been able to show his talent whenever we don't have leeches in the field. I wish this was a weekly theme where we have no cup leeches in the field. But we can have nice things like that. Christopher Bell, he has really helped Joe Gibbs come back from the grave beyond. Because really, they've been irrelevant. The only time they were really winning was with Leaches last year. And now they're back up there. Chris Bell with 4 wins, maybe 5 if he wins Vegas, who knows. You know, really good season for Chris Bell. Chris Bell, one of the next best championship favorite, I think. You know, he's just been so good this year. He's been fast. He was able to beat a bunch of Cup drivers on a weekly basis. He at one point won 3 races in a row. So, I think Chris Bell is a good favorite for this, too. Elliott Sadler. Elliott, of course, his final year in NASCAR. He's retiring at the end of the season. So, yeah, Elliott Sadler still looking for that championship that's eluded him all his career. He's been close many times, but has never got it. You know, he hasn't had the speed to compete yet, but, you know, you can blame Leaches for that. But the good news is for the chase, all Cup drivers of all experience are banned from it. So, if Elliott Sadler wants to show his speed, I think he has a chance to win a couple races. Tyler Reddick, you know, he won Daytona, but hasn't really done much since. He's really been lacking in speed, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Reddick. You know, Reddick also, he's been close a couple times to a win, but, you know, just hasn't been close to it. Either getting beat out by Allgaier or Bell or a Leach. But, you know, maybe Reddick can show how good he is. Daniel Hemrick, he's been close many times, but has just fallen short. You know, he's one of the top drivers in the field. But, yeah. Hemrick, you know, he's been close, but not close enough. Maybe now with no Leaches, he can show his talent. Cole Custer, he's been meh this year, pretty meh. But, you know, he's been close a couple times, just, you know, hasn't been able to seal the deal. Matt Tiff, you know, he's just been mediocre all season. You know, a lot of people hate Matt Tiff, you know, I honestly don't mind him, you know. I don't mind him as much, you know. You know, just don't really care for him. That's all I'm going to say. Brandon Jones, he just plain sucks this year. He has just been trashed this year. Just garbage in a top-tier car. Ryan Reed, he's just been trashed this year. If he hasn't won that restrictor plates, he's doing nothing. So, Reed, honestly, he's just trash this year. Wouldn't trust him. Ross Chastain, well, he's had a couple races in the 42 car. For all I know, he's going to be in a good majority of the races in the 42 car in the chase. Like, he's splitting that ride with John Hunter Nemechek, so I think Chastain's in the 42 for the majority of the chase. I think he'll have a chance. If he's in the 4 car, I think his chances are cooked. The goose is cooked for him. It just, you know, he's got to be in that 42, and he's got to make good use of it. Ryan Truex, you know, he's just in a lackluster ride. You know, he's made the best of it, but, you know, I just have a lot of doubt, you know. It's just the speed, you know. And then Austin Cindric, the less said about him, the better. He's going to be in the 22 ride for it, so I'm not going to really talk about it. He's just been trashed this year. But yeah, those are the 12 Xfinity drivers. So, who will be moving on into round 2? So, here are the 8 drivers I have moving on to the second round of the Xfinity Chase. Richmond, I'm going to say Daniel Hemrick will finally break through and get his first career win. The Royalville, I'm going to say Justin Allgaier. It's a no-brainer. Allgaier wins. Like, he's the best road course racer in the Xfinity Series this year. Like, if there were no Leaches at Watkins Glen, I think he would have won every road course race this year. Dover, I'm going to say Christopher Bell because it's Bell. And I got Elliott Sadler, Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer, Matt Tiff, and Ross Chastain pointing their way in. So the 4 drivers I have out are Brandon Jones, Ryan Reed. Well, Reed and Jones are both trash. I got also Austin Cindric out. Fuck off. Fuck him. Cannot stand that piece of crap. Ryan Truex, he just doesn't have the speed. I think if he had a better ride, I would give him more of a chance. But yeah, those are 4 drivers that are out. Here are the 8 I have in. So yes, these 8. So out of these 8, which 4 will be moving on to compete for the Xfinity Championship at Homestead? So here's my Xfinity Final 4, aka the 4 drivers I'll be jinxing in the Xfinity Chase this year. So yes, everyone's talking about how this Elliott Sadler's season this year will end up being like Matt Kenseth's. I'm going to say different. I think it's going to be like Jeff Gordon's in 2015. I say Elliott Sadler will win Kansas to lock himself in the Final 4. I have nobody marked for Texas. I'm going to say Ryan Preece will win at Texas. And Phoenix, of course, new configuration. We don't know what to expect out of it. So, yeah, a lot of question marks. So, I'm going to say Christopher Bell will take Phoenix. And I got Justin Allgaier and Cole Custer pointing their way in. The final spot was either going to be Custer or Daniel Hemrick, but I think Custer's going to be able to get Hemrick out. So, yeah, this is my Final 4. Elliott Sadler, Christopher Bell, Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer. The 4 best Xfinity drivers I think will put on the best show for the fans at Homestead for the Xfinity Championship. So, out of these 4, which one will be the 2018 Xfinity Series champion? So, for this one, I honestly see this mainly coming down to Justin Allgaier and Christopher Bell. Cole Custer did win at Homestead last year, but I'm not trusting my luck with him. I'm not sure. Elliott Sadler just hasn't really had the speed to keep up with Bell and Allgaier. But in the end, after giving it some thought, I just think Justin Allgaier is too good right now. So unless he falls apart at Homestead, I'm taking him to win the Xfinity Series championship. Like, out of all the drivers, he's the most deserving. He's having one of the best seasons of his career. And I think Allgaier gets that Xfinity Championship he long deserves. And hopefully one day he gets to get it being a competitive cup ride one day. Hopefully, I honestly think he should replace Jimmy Johnson in the 48 when Jimmy Johnson retires. But we will have to see what happens. Wait and see what happens there. But yeah, that's my Xfinity Championship prediction for you. Alright, and now we get to the big chase prediction. The one that everyone only cares about. The only one that matters. The Cup Series chase. The big one. So 16 drivers. The field is set. How's this going to go? So let's go through each and every one of them. And we're going to see how it goes. So first off, Kevin Harvick. Don't mind him. Having one of the best seasons of his career. 7 wins. Hot damn. Like everyone said Ford was supposed to be crap this year. They keep winning. Penalties were handed to Harvick like candy. They keep winning. Everyone said Harvick's crew and the Ford crews were going to fall off by mid-season, and Chevy was going to get the Camaro fixed. You thought wrong. They keep winning. Harvick and the Ford teams this year have been goddamn cockroaches. They just will not die. But yeah, Harvick, where Harvick's at in his career and his age, I think this is Harvick's best to last chance to win a championship this year. Because next year is his final year in his contract. I think Harvick's going to retire after 2019. Just at where he's at in his age and how much he's accomplished in his career. And, next year it's the Ford Mustang. And if the Chevy Camaro struggles are anything to suggest, I think the Ford teams are going to struggle the first part of the year with the Mustang body. I think that's just a given. But yeah, Harvick, he needs to make good on this. I think this is his best to last chance to win a championship. Kyle Busch, everyone knows where I stand with him. I despise this piece of crap. Always hated this punk. He's just made this season miserable for me. Him winning 6 races will just about do that. Him dumping Kyle Larson for the win at Chicagoland just about does that. Him trying to chase away the fans just about does that. I cannot stand this guy. And this year, I just almost about hate his fans. as much as I hate the guy himself. Because it's like, how can anybody really defend this guy? But you know, Kyle Busch, the regular season champion, this year, so he actually won a championship without missing a third of the schedule for once. Can he now do that for the Cup Championship? We'll have to wait on seeing that one. Next up is Martin Truex, the reigning champion. So Martin Truex, out of the big three this year, I'm going to go out here and say it, Truex has been the bottom feeder of the big three. Because whenever Harvick or Kyle Busch mess up, Truex is right there to pick up the scraps from them. You know, last year Truex entered with 4 wins. This year Truex enters with 4 wins. This car is not as fast as it was last year. This team is a little bit behind, you know. And you know, with Furniture Row shutting down next year, which is unfortunate, by the way, Truex also has no future in store. Rumors of him going to the 19 to replace the underachieving Daniel Suarez. It would guarantee he would be able to top ride next year. We'll have to see how Truex's situation goes. But I think Truex, he is going to be a contender this year. But yeah, Truex, he's going to have to find a way to outsmart Kyle Busch and Harvick. We got, next up, Brad Keselowski. Keselowski mainly was not that fast all year, just been mediocre at best. You know, and now he enters he's the driver with the most momentum entering the chase. Like, he's won the last 2 races at Darlington and Indy. Like, he enters with a lot of momentum. I think Penske's coming up. I think Brad's figured the 4 cars out. But yeah, Keselowski, I think he's a dark horse for the championship this year, if he can pull it together. And then next up, we got the guy Kamikaze Games has labeled as God, Clint Bowyer. You know, Bowyer, he started off the year well with speed, you know, got 2 wins. But ever since that win at Michigan, Bowyer's really faded off. He's really not been that fast. He's mainly struggled and lacked speed. Like, which is a shame because he's been really good this year. But the question is now, Bowyer, can you actually make it past the first round this year? Or will something prevent you from doing that? We will have to see. Because Clint Bowyer has been NASCAR's version of walking mediocrity. And the only way he'll shed that label off is if he has a strong chase run. But yeah, and continuing on. Next up, Chase Elliott. Chase finally won a race. Took 99 starts. And no, a bitch ain't one of them. But Chase Elliott finally won a race. It finally happened. Took you long enough, but you finally did it. Honestly, out of all the Hendrick cars have struggled for speed this year, but I think Chase is the best of the Hendrick cars. I think he's probably the closest one to figuring out. He's run around top 10, top 5-ish. So I think Chase Elliott could be a contender this year. I think he's the only one that's really figured out the Chevys out of the Hendrick camp. But yeah, I think Chase Elliott could fly under the radar here. Joey Logano next. I despise him as much. Really hasn't done much all year. He's been just mediocre at best. He has that win at Talladega, but that's sort of expected because Penske's own Talladega like the back of their hand, own restrictor plates like the back of their hand. They're always contenders. They're always going to dominate them. But yeah, Logano's going to find a way to point himself into a deep playoff run. Next up, Kurt Busch. The Busch everybody likes. Oh, and the other Busch everybody likes is Busch Beer. But Kurt Busch, mainly he's been meh. He's been mediocre also too. But Kurt Busch, he was able to get that win at Bristol. And you know, there's a lot of rumors about if Kurt's coming back to the 41. Is he leaving? Is he going tonight to the 1 car at Chip Ganassi? So many questions. Like, his future's up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen. But, you know, Kurt Busch, maybe he could do something to Chase. Maybe he can actually do something and have a good playoff run. Next up, Erik Jones. Erik broke through at Daytona and finally won a race. Congrats. But really, Erik Jones, he's been close a couple times to winning, but he mainly just either keeps shooting himself in the foot or he just is not fast enough to keep up with the big three. But yeah, I think for Erik Jones, I think this is more of a learning year. I think they're just going to learn the system out, and they're just going to take it out, isn't it? But next year, I think he'll be a contender. Next up, Austin Dillon, the 3-car. Austin started the year with the Daytona 500, getting me a prediction right in my season predictions video I did back in January. But yeah, Austin Dillon. He really hasn't done much. He's been trash all year. But yeah, I don't expect much out of Austin Dillon in the chase. Next up, Kyle Larson, having not that good of a season after last year. I thought this year he was going to be one of the top drivers. That hasn't been the case. Kyle Larson's been close to winning a couple races, but he just hasn't been able to break through and get the job done. He's been close a couple times, but either BS'd or getting dumped out of the win or whatnot. But, I think Kyle Larson, if he's going to have a chance to go to Homestead this year, I think he needs to win a few races and finally break through. Next up, Ryan Blaney. He's just been meh. He's had a couple good runs, but hasn't been able to seal the deal in the 12 car. But, maybe Talladega could change that, but you never know. No, Brian Blaney, I think he's going to have a decent playoff run, but I think that's about it. Don't expect much else out of him. Next up, Denny Hamlin. He's just been mediocre this year. Not really one of the best Gibbs cars. The only good Gibbs car this year is Kyle Busch. But Hamlin, he's just meh. He's just there. He just doesn't do much. He's just top 5, top 10 at best, maybe even top 15. I think he's just struggling for speed. But yeah, Hamlin. Still in the chase. Next up, Aric Almirola. Aric did the one thing Danica Patrick could never do in the 10 car. He made the chase. And he made it on points. That is impressive. Congrats, Aric. You actually did something in a competitive ride. To be honest, Aric, you've been close a couple times to having a couple race wins. But you've always had a problem. Either from pit miscues or some other BS. But other than that, you've really been not really had that much speed. So, I'm not sure, but I think you've all but overachieved with the 10 car. Considering where it has been the last few years with Danica Patrick completely underachieving in it. So it just shows that Danica Patrick was clearly the problem in the 10 car. I think to say Danica, we all know she sucks. But yeah, we know that she really sucked. Because Aric did the one thing Danica could never do in 1 year. This could have been you, Danica, if you knew how to drive a race car. Next up, the man I label as our Lord and Savior, Jimmie Johnson. Really, this year, this is the worst season of Jimmie Johnson's career. This is the worst he's ever entered the chase. He has never been this bad before. Well, maybe the past couple years. But yeah, I know everyone's going to say, don't doubt Jimmie Johnson because it's the chase, but this is the weakest 48 team I've ever seen the chase. He's had no speed, no momentum. He struggles every week he's top 15, top 20, and a car that should be contending for wins. Honestly, this is really unacceptable for a 7-time champion. But, he really hasn't had a bad year his entire career. But, hey, you have good years and bad years. Jimmie Johnson just having a bad year. And we finally get to our final chaser, Alex Bowman. Alex did it. You made the chase. You finally did it, buddy. Good job. In the 88 car. I think, honestly, Bowman, you'll take it because, considering where that 88 was last year with Dale Jr., because Dale Jr. was completely cooked last year. But, Bowman, you were able to bring the 88 back to the chase. Good job. You made Dale Jr. and Junior Nation proud, man. I think that's enough for this year. Maybe you could win a race? We'll have to see. But yeah, those are the 16 drivers. So yes, we start the chase. So round 2, who will move on to the second round of the chase? Alright, so here we go, the second round of the chase, here it is. So yeah, Vegas, it's going to be a boring race. I got Harvick winning that race. Richmond, I think it's going to be a good race because it's a short track. So I think Kyle Busch is going to win Richmond. You know, because the Gibbs cars always do well with the short tracks. And the Roval I got going to Martin Truex. You know, Truex has been the best driver on road courses. No, he's won 2 of the last 3 road course races. You know, he won Watkins Glen last year. Won Sonoma earlier this year. He finished second at Watkins Glen. You know, Chase Elliott was able to outlast Truex on fuel. So I think Truex is the best road course driver on the field, so I'll give Truex the win there. And I got Keselowski, Bowyer, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Kurt Busch, Erik Jones, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin pointing their way into the chase. So the 4 drivers I have out are Austin Dillon. He's just been trashed this year. Other than the Daytona 500 win, he's done nothing. Aric Almirola, I think he's going to shoot himself in the foot again, and it's going to cost him big. Jimmy Johnson, I'm going to break the golden rule and doubt him. He's just been trash all season. Like, I think it's a given he's out in round 1. Bowman, he hasn't had much speed either. Like, you know, but Bowman's overachieved in that 88 considering where it was last year. So yeah, my drivers out are Austin Dillon, Aric Almirola, Jimmy Johnson, and Alex Bowman. But yeah, there's round 2 of the chase. So yes, I think round 1, if you know what you're doing, I think round 1's easy to predict. I say same deal in round 2. I think round 3 and 4 are going to be harder to predict. But yeah, let's see who I have moving on to the third round. So yeah, here we go, round 3. It's a little hard. I think it's going to be a little bit harder to pick, but here's who I have in round 3. Dover, I have going to Martin Truex. Talladega, it's going to be a complete and utter crapshoot. Like, the race is going to end up being a demolition derby. I see Chase Elliott winning at Talladega. Hear me out. He's been close a couple times on the restrictor plates. You know, I think the way that Watkins Glen's going to help Chase Elliott, because now Chase will know how to win races. Yeah, it will help him in the future. But yeah, I say Chase Elliott, though, he's going to get a win. And hopefully this time, when Chase Elliott wins, Brian France doesn't do something completely stupid. And in Kansas, I'm going to say upset. I'm going to say it's not going to be the big 3. I'm going to say Kyle Larson will win Kansas. Like, he almost won Chicagoland. And Chicagoland is the same configuration as Kansas. He's been close on the 1.5 miles. So I think Kyle Larson will break through and will win at Kansas and get his first career win on a 1.5 miles. And of course, I have Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney pointing their way in to the third round. So the 4 drivers I have out are Clint Bowyer. Bowyer just been lacking speed as of late. I think 2 rounds as far as he'll go. Kurt Busch, I think something's going to happen to him at like Talladega, and that's going to put him in a big hole that he won't be able to come out of. Erik Jones, you know, I think he's just going to be I think he's going to be in a hole also. You know, I think he's just there to learn the system, but I think next year he'll be able to learn the system better. And Denny Hamlin's just been mediocre all year. He just hasn't really been that fast. So I'm not really going to go far with him. But yeah, these are the 8 drivers I have moving on. So now the question is, my Cup Series Final 4. Which drivers am I jinxing this year? So, here is my Final 4. I'll describe each one. So, Martinsville, I have it going to Kyle Busch because the Gibbs cars are good at the short tracks. I don't have a winner for Texas. I'm going to say Jimmy Johnson's going to get his first win of 2018 at Texas Motor Speedway. Like, look at this. 2014, eliminating the second round, won Texas. 2015, got eliminated in the first round, won at Texas. 2016, when he made the Final 4 and won the championship, he didn't win Texas. And last year, when he was eliminated in the third round, he didn't win Texas. I say this year, When he gets eliminated in the first round, I say Jimmie Johnson wins Texas. And will get his first win of 2018. If not Texas, he will win a race in the third round. Mark my words. And then Phoenix, of course. Well, Phoenix, we got a lot of question marks. Of course, it's a new configuration. Mainly, they moved the start-finish line all the way to the other side of the track. But still, new configuration. So many question marks. I'm going to go with the surefire pick. I'm going to take Kevin Harvick to win Phoenix. Well, mainly, Phoenix didn't become Kevin Harvick's speedway until Harvick joined Stewart-Haas. I think before Harvick took over, it was mainly Jimmie Johnsonville, because this was one of Jimmie Johnson's best tracks, other than Phoenix and Martinsville. But, yeah, I'm going to take the safe pick and take Harvick to win at Phoenix since he's so good there. And then I got Martin Truex and Kyle Larson pointing their way in. I think Kyle Larson will make the Final Four finally this year. So this Final Four was originally what my Final Four was last year. But at the last second, I changed Harvick out for Jimmie Johnson last year. That was a dumb move. But yeah, this is the Final Four here. The only reason I say jinx is because my luck at predicting these has been terrible. So yeah, I expect it to be terrible because when can I get anything right most of the time? But yeah, my Final Four. So the question is, who will be my champion? Well, we've seen in years past that Homestead, it's been controversial. At least 3 of the 4 championship races under this format have had a late race caution for either a crapmobile hitting the wall or for a BS debris caution. And I honestly think this race is going to have a debris caution. I think Harvick should win the championship, but we've seen in years past, this format has not rewarded the best driver throughout the season the title. So that being said, I think the 2018 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion will be Kyle Busch. I just think something's going to happen at Homestead, and it's just going to open the door for Kyle Busch to take the championship. I just think something's going to happen to Harvick or Truex or even Larson, and it's going to allow Kyle Busch to take advantage and win the championship. But yeah, that's my chase predictions for this year for all 3 NASCAR sanctioned series. Odds are watch half of these be wrong by the first race. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for the chase. But yeah, that's so, yeah, let me know what your championship picks are. Do you agree with some of mine? Do you disagree? Or how bad do you think my luck will be? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, folks. Hope everyone's a great day, and yeah, peace out.